Hey guys, Merry Meet. This is Anastasia Atomfire, and I'm doing a series of videos. Actually, yesterday I was invited to join a group called Pagans of YouTube. I believe I might get that group name wrong. But they have a weekly challenge. They have a set of subjects per week, and you're supposed to do a video on that, and I really like that idea. And seeing as I'm now part of that group, I wanted to get my videos up and going. I'm a couple of weeks behind, so I'm gonna do 3 consecutive videos just to get caught up. So yeah, you'll see the same setup 3 videos in a row. But the first subject is, how did you find your path? For me, my path was always kind of there. I'm sure probably a lot of people feel the same way. For me, I identify as a witch. I guess probably eclectic witch. I tend to say I've got a blended path. My matron and patron deities. My matron goddess is Hel of the Nordic traditions, and my patron god is Cernunnos of Celtic tradition. So I feel like I've got a blended path of both Celtic and Northern. But I tend to kind of say more eclectic, simply because I do tend to take little bits here and there. I grew up in a family that was very open when it came to religion. I had my mom was kind of free thinking. She always believed there was something, but wasn't really sure what there was. My grandparents on her side were atheist and or agnostic. My grandmother is atheist. My grandfather was agnostic, I believe. And then on my father's side, my grandfather, Ray, was Catholic, but he wasn't a practicing Catholic, and he also, although he had his ideas on things, he very much took up the mind of everyone should have a faith, everyone should have a spiritual path, really is probably more what he adhered to. Everyone should believe in something, and everyone has that right and has that need, and whatever it was, go for it, which is actually very much what I believe. I myself am pagan. I do identify as a witch, but by no means would I ever say someone who's Christian or Buddhist or satanic or what have you is in the wrong. That doesn't mesh well with me. As long as I figure as long as something is making you feel positive and bringing you happiness and you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, I think good on you, keep going. And that was very much his belief as well. And then his wife, my Grandma Marie, she took on some of his ideals, but she actually was very, very pagan in nature. She taught me a lot of folk magic. Definitely taught me a lot of kitchen witchery, a lot of herbs, a lot of traditions, stirring pots a certain way for one thing, stirring it the opposite way for the other, and having your house spirit, shrines, leaving offerings, very big into doing your part of the work around the household so that it didn't upset the status quo with the household spirits. And just little odds and ends here and there. But even to this day, she's still a very magical woman. And then my father was, he identifies as, it does switch between agnostic and atheist. I think he settled with atheist, but he does kind of get he gets a little lost in translation at times. I don't know that he necessarily identifies as something. Titles in him have never really meshed well. But he knew at a young age that I was very much felt connected to the other side of things, for lack of a better phrase. And so he was very instrumental in like bringing me to, he had some friends that were witches, so I would get to go with him to Yule or solstice celebrations, and kind of not take part per se, but at least be there for more of the public rituals, and just a really great childhood when it came to my spiritual path. I felt connected to it at that point. I knew I wasn't someone that was going to follow what anyone said because they said this was the right way or the wrong way, because I'd already experienced things and seen things that weren't explainable by the status quo. But in my teenage years, that kind of quickly changed, and being accepted was a huge thing. And being quote-unquote normal was the major desire. So I really lost myself in high school, and definitely through my early 20s. I didn't necessarily know what I identified with, where I identified, who I identified with, and it's been a struggle getting back to my path. I oftentimes say I've always had my path. I just got distracted for a very long time. Kind of like that Little Red Riding Hood picking flowers. But a few years ago, I kind of got back at least to where I felt comfortable. I still don't know that I'm necessarily where I should be, if anyone should be somewhere. I don't necessarily know that that's a thing, but if it is, I feel like I'm close to it at least. I know I'm on my path. I recently dedicated myself to my path and know where I'm going and what I'm doing. And really what was instrumental in that was just meeting like-minded people. I've got some amazing friends and a very loving family. And, you know, I've just really had a great support when it has come to my spiritual path. And that idea of, well, if it makes you happy and is giving you positivity and allowing you to send out positivity, then you should be doing that. And I really could not thank my friends enough for that. Even for those that aren't necessarily on the same path as me. Just knowing that they were accepting of me made me kind of realize, okay, you can I can be accepted without being, you know, one of you, so to speak. And that really was what was key for me to really hone in and say yeah, and own my path, own where I was going, what I was doing. And I now can look at my practice, which is very much a solo practitioner. I do have a couple of friends that I meet with every now and then and do things with. I have a friend, Brandon, and he and I will get together and read tarot or do little rituals or make wands. I know one night we did that. And then I have my friend Kristen, who I call my witchy sister in arms. She has been very instrumental in my path. We still take classes together, go to conventions together. So yeah, that really, I can't, I don't think I'd be where I am without having the friends that I have. So that really has been key in me, not only finding my path, but sticking to it. I think I've always known my path. I've always had my path, whether I stay on it or whether I allow that path to frighten me, so to speak, has been another story. And yeah, so I hope that answers that question. Sorry it was a little bit rambly, but yeah, that's what I've got so far. So I found my path at first through family, and then I rediscovered it and really cultivated my path with the love and support of my friends, and really just accepting myself. So I hope that answers that question. Blessed be, and yeah, I've got like 2 more videos to make. Thanks guys, bye.